First, I'm sorry about my voice. I lost it somewhere, so if you find it, I'm gonna be glad. And if because of this voice, this presentation is boring, please stay because there's Pierre afterwards, and he's gonna show you something awesome. Second thing, I'm sorry, I haven't finished my t-shirt. I'm gonna finish it tomorrow. Okay. So I'm here to talk about open source UX. UX is user experience, you know that, right? Okay, so I'm going to talk not about the whole open source user experience, but I'm going to focus on IM, instant messaging or chat, because that's what I know how to do. And second thing, this is a different presentation because it's not going to be that technical. I'm going to be removing all the technical parts so that we can focus on the use and the social impact of everything. Okay? Now, spoiler warning. This is the end of my presentation. My conclusion is we can do better. We agree on that? Okay, thank you. I am Nicolas, as Jean introduced me. Nicolas Vérité. I used to be the president of Linux F4. I'm only vice president now, but I co-founded Niago, and I am member of the board of directors of the XSF, which is the XMPP Standards Foundation, Jabber, if you know it that way. This is okay. I love pauses. So, I said this presentation would be different. I'm not calling to your intellect now. I want you to focus on your memory of what's following and the feeling associated with it. Okay? I'm going to show you a series of pictures, and you're going to think about it when you used these things and remind the feeling you had with it. Okay? Let's start with this first object. So what is it? What is it? A phone. Remember the noise. 3D model of the phone. That's funny. I love it. So remember the sound, remember how you composed the number, right? Well, it's not usable these days. I mean, you show that to a kid, he says, "What's that? What the F?" So, but this was a revolution because you can phone your friends and family without moving, without sending a postcard. This was a revolution. Now let's think about the next revolution. Wow, and you French people are proud of that because we had internet before the world had it, okay? Remember the speed, remember the graphics, the awesome graphics of it. Okay, next object is this one. Wonderful design. That was a computer, that's a x86 computer, right? You can see that it's beige all over the place, 14 inches CRT, rounded corners, everything. Even the mouse is not the same color. And maybe you can spot an error here. You have the CD-ROM player, but not the speakers. So this was awesome. You had this at home. You can play with DOS 6.2. Awesome. And then, oh, you will do something for the next picture, okay? You will do the sound of it, okay? All together. And associate with it the fear that it would not connect. But this was a revolution. We could connect the computer, isolated computer, to the whole internet. Awesome, awesome. And then, I'm gonna stop here. So, I want to make an apology once again to the organizers, Christians, Jean, you trusted me on that, and what I'm gonna show you is absolute violence, okay? So I want the sensible minds to get out of the room right now if it is your only chance, because this is highly violent, okay? Take a deep breath, because... What was that?
That's a web page. That's how the web should be.
But you know what it is about? It's ICQ. Okay, proprietary software. Sorry? Yeah, you used it, right? Okay, wonderful web page with tables, not divs, not CSS, etc. that didn't exist at that time. Can you see the broken pictures at the top? Yeah, remind of everything. Okay, this is absolute horror now, but at that time that was a revolution once again. So let's take another look at another violent picture, which is ICQ itself, not the web page. It looked like that. That's crap, honestly. You don't use that kind of software anymore. But at that time, that was a revolution. Okay, reminder, you use these to connect with ICQ. So you picked up the phone, you used it for a quarter of an hour, and you were online. So you had to tell all your friends that you were online, okay? So you had to go fast. That's what we changed the naming of chat. We used the term, the expression, instant messaging. Okay, it changed everything. So here are the players at that time. ICQ were the first, and then others. And what you can see is at the top and this side, which is the right, you have the proprietary systems, all incompatible. And here you have the Jabber software. That was called Jabber at that time. And all of these were compatible. What you can see is the split is 50-50. So we, the open source player, were good at that time. We were on the market and we're competing 50-50. That's great. That's what we call the first generation of IM. Now, let's jump onto the second generation of IM. So I told you what changed everything was the modem. Do you know what changed everything again so that it gave birth to the second generation of IM? What's the hardware revolution? Exactly. Show it. This. So the smartphone, the multi-touch smartphone, that was a revolution. It's not only about the iPhone, it's also about Android. So remember, at that time, we had this kind of phone. These were the best, okay? So now, the revolution came from WhatsApp. WhatsApp used this device to deliver a user experience that was completely different. Everything on the smartphone. Remember, we used to connect exceptionally to the internet. Now we disconnect exceptionally. We have internet in the pocket at all time. So this changed everything. Now let's take a look at the players. Now around 20 proprietary players, if not more, and a few of them on the open source. I need to speed up. So do you know what is the hardware revolution of the third generation of IM? This. No hardware revolution. You know what's that? These are the key players. HipChat, Slack. Now when you take a look at the players in third generation of IM, in Team Chat, all proprietary, there's 60 of them, but none on XMPP. That's a problem. So we shrunk. The players completely shrunk. So we have a problem here. We don't follow up the world. So is open source an opportunity for UX? Is UX an opportunity for open source? Yes, of course. So I propose you two solutions. One solution is a culture, one is a product, a use case. So one is focusing on how the open source does UX, and the other one is a product that's an IM product, it's Niago. So the first one is experience hacking. So how do you fusion the developer's mindset and the UX mindset? That's it. So it's like DevOps is fusioning sysadmin with dev, more or less. It's like growth hacking is fusioning sales and developer, more or less. So what is it about? It's about developers going do user tests, observe the people, not stick to their opinions. It's about listening to people. It's about observing what they do. It's about understanding what they don't understand on your software. And on the UX mind, it's about the culture of sharing, the culture of open source licenses. Okay. Now, what we've done is do that on an open source project. We did user tests. We made the problems obvious to the whole community, and now they're okay with it. We have to deal with the problems, so we ideated many solutions, we tested them, and then we are going to be delivering these improvements. which are quite awesome. Now, the first use case, we are going forward with Niago. What we want to do is hack not an existing open source software, its experience, but we want to hack the third generation of IAM. We want to hack Slack, not modify Slack, but do better than it. Okay, so the first thing we did is observe the people, ask questions, and open up our minds to the problems. So we spotted the problems. First, Slack and all the team chats are silos. You are trapped in a workspace. It's not compatible. It's not interoperable. Okay. Second problem, notification overload. You are interrupted all day long. Third problem, well, chat is chaotic since its beginning, right? You can have parallel conversation within the same conversation. So we're solving that, all these. So this leads us to the fourth, maybe, generation of chat. So one example of our innovation is that we are structuring the conversation through a visual addition, a visual overlay. We make the discussions obvious to the people, to the human eye. So we believe that it improves the structure, reduces the misinterpretation, and allow people to move forward faster. Please come to me. We can discuss how you can improve your software through experience hacking, user tests, etc. And if you want to see the first use case, that's Niago. I'm going to do a demo for you. Thank you.